Welcome back to another episode of this backtesting journey of the interest rate index futures 2020 data. So the last session, I believe we were Thursday, the 20th of January, and certainly as I had highlighted, was that this week was likely going to represent low probability conditions because there was absolutely no high impact news during the entire week. That's not to say that there won't be price moves and so on, and obviously I've been looking at each day to see if I can formulate a high probability move, but unfortunately not been able to. So within this session I am going to briefly look at Friday as to whether I think the potential of a high probability trade setup will manifest itself, and if not, very quickly I'm going to move to Monday, where we do have the first of any high impact news drivers whereby we may see an opportunity. Because it's one thing to represent low probability conditions, which in my opinion they have been, but again, trading your own models could potentially promote high probability conditions. So for me, it was just a case that these conditions are low probability, so I would like to obviously get into a position where we've got some high probability conditions. But what you're probably alluding to, or what you should be taking away, is the frequency of low probability conditions versus high. We're not always in high probability trade conditions. Now maybe some people are, but if you even were looking at the market through the lens of the lower time frame, so let's just say the hourly lower, maybe even the 15-minute, the frequency of, bearing in mind that price is fractal, the frequency of low probability conditions to high would be the same, just at a lower time frame. So whereby I might get a high probability setup 1 per week, maybe 2 per week, so 2 in 5, you might have 5 trading scenarios down at the 15-minute, with 2 of them being high probability before the next batch of 5. Now ultimately probabilities will play a part in that, but fundamentally speaking, just because you trade a lower time frame doesn't mean that the ratio of low to high between each and every trade opportunity would significantly differ from what I'm seeing at the high time frame. Okay, so just to put that out there. Now, so going back to price, we're at the 4 hour, and I'm just going to drop back down to the hourly. So we're going to go to Friday. So that's Thursday. That's what have we got here? Let's have a look. So it starts from that's previous day's low. So they've all done the same thing here, which is fine. And that is 2. So we're just gonna go to 7. See where we're at. It's interesting. It is, actually. Yeah, okay. I'm not looking at this as particularly high probability, if I'm being honest. I'm really not. I think I'm going to move on to Monday. I just want to determine that I'm not moving too prematurely. And I don't believe I am. Yeah, I don't believe I am. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go to Monday. Next day. So what we got? Where are we? What's that? Okay. It's Sunday. I want to go to next session. And next session. And one more. Okay. See where we're at. Okay, so that's where it starts. So would have been up to there. That would have been the low. Well, I'm going to clear the charts anyway. Let's see what we got. Okay, let's annotate. From a daily standpoint, so we've got that. Okay. Okay, right, let's sit up and get into this. Right, so that one there. Maybe a really thin one in there. But we're going to mark this one. Okay. Okay, so there is a liquidity pool here, but where price is right now, that's probably not necessarily of concern for us at present. Just going to quickly check the weekly. Nothing. Yeah, okay. Drop down to the 4 hour. That one nudge. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to mark specifically around the weekly cycle. Fan on my machine is going, not too sure why. I think it's just telling me I need a new PC. I think. Okay. So we've had symmetrical price action pretty much all the way. Okay. We want which is there quite high. Okay. Is that, and finally this one, which is there. Okay. Using the previous true week open because the new one hasn't formed yet until the close of this trading day. And now oh dear. It's not looking clear at the lows, right? Not looking clear at all. So we started there. Oh, it's there. Okay, just gonna mark that off. Mark this off. So relatively simple in terms of our markings at present. We can see how the market reaccumulated further shorts on Friday, traded lower. That is fine. Oh no, I tell a lie. There is no dollar news on the Monday. So not until Wednesday. So the reality is that there's no necessity to trade today. We should actually skip forward. And besides, I don't particularly like trading Monday. There is no news. It's actually, let me show you. There you go. As you can see, Monday, it's Euro news. So yeah, that sort of balls that. So although I've done that, I'm just going to move it forward. Seeing high prices was not surprising, if I'm honest. Not surprising. Okay. Right. So let's go back out to the 4 hour. In fact, let's just start the daily, have a quick look, because now we've got this one, this SIBI, which could purely be used for targeting purposes, but we're going to mark it nonetheless. Oh gee, because it's a point of interest. Okay. Maybe drop down to the 4. Okay, let's see what we've got now. Just gonna move that. Let's move this down. Which was that. Okay. Perfect. And I think it's that one. Okay. We have a previous day's low. We'll keep the highs intact from Monday. And we want Tuesday's high. Which is not clear. Although we could see partial of that high. So I'm just going to mark that up. And we have the same high there. We've got no clear Monday high. The Monday price action starts from there. It's not clear to me. Finally, we want to determine what the market is doing. So we're just going to mark up the PD rates, and then we're going to have a look at the analysis. And see if anything presents itself. And this is actually a BPR. That's what that size. Makes that quite strong and compelling. Okay. Right. So got those in check. And I think that is probably everything at present. It's going to drop down to the hourly, I think. We want to mark up. Okay, so oh no, let's put that in properly. Okay, and we want that for NQ, and we want that for YM. Okay. So, is there anything else we need to, from a H1 standpoint? Again, another BPR here. Just want to put that over to okay. So again, we're just marking up all of the key PD arrays that are of interest. To me, that is a BPR, but I'm just going to keep it as a SIBI for the time being, just because. Okay. Finally, over here. Okay. All right. Let's see what we've got. Okay. So we are just heading into the New York AM session. We're going to just do some analysis. So let's get that in now. What day are we? Tuesday. Now, it's important to note that Tuesday, again, has no high impact news, but because Tuesday potentially we could see the low of the week, I think it's important to have a look at price action. So just going to venture back out. Here we can see where liquidity is resting. I think if we go into the daily, it might no, the 4 hours probably way more. Okay, yeah, yeah. So you naturally want a piece of that. Okay, so IF is currently to the downside, following high time frame displacement, which was higher, and so on, and it was initiated by the high time frame SSMT at the highs. Okay, so that hasn't changed. Excuse me, that hasn't changed. Now we have seen a rejection at the lows, and we've seen price trade through the SIBI. Therefore, that could be the first indication of price tipping its hand that it wants to reprice higher. But for now, we need more evidence to support highs. So I'm going to note, although the market has rejected at the lows and traded to and through the SIBI H4, which could be the market tipping its hat to suggest higher prices. Okay, that's IOF. Okay. We had noted how price was manipulating the old highs whilst displacing through the old lows, supporting lower prices. So we need to bear that in mind. Okay, we haven't seen evidence yet to suggest higher prices based on that alone. Okay, so external range, basing this on the current leg of price. Okay, rejected old lows here. Okay. Sorry, I was just thinking. So external range to internal range liquidity. So we have taken out external range liquidity once but twice. Not once but twice. Okay, so our immediate attention, so the market has taken out external range liquidity. Now, one of the things I want to check is it time-based liquidity? It's important that we understand the liquidity, and to me, whilst important, it's not necessarily the liquidity pool that I was after. So yes, we've taken out external range liquidity with the market showing a rejection candle. My immediate attention turns to internal range liquidity in the form of the CB daily. Is what we want to see. Okay. However, I would need this to be supported at the lows by a high time frame cracking correlation confirming high prices. Okay, so TOs. Currently all three are below. So currently all three members are trading below their respective true week open. This represents the potential for high probability longs should it be paired with a high time frame cracking correlation at the lows. Okay, beautiful. And SP, so we've got Monday's low, what I'm going to do is just pop on there. Oh, okay, maybe that is it. Okay, so we don't have a Monday high. But I am making where is this high? SQ5. Okay, so that's Q5. Which is Friday. Okay, so let's just, as I did, there, that's a posh, that's not the highest high. Yeah, so when does it start there? Starts there, yeah. Let's take that. Okay, so I have noted the clean and clear weekly cycle swing point at the lows frame crack correlation could support the idea of a high probability long, high probability trade model. Okay, so that's where we're at there. It's not it's not what I would class necessarily as high probability, but we certainly have more validation that we could see something. Now, having no news does reduce the efficacy of a potential high probability trade, but nonetheless, we are going to operate as though a potential opportunity could submerge. Why would I still look at this as potentially low probability? Well, where price is in proximity to this previous day's low is still quite high. We're already in New York session, early part, so the reality of price moving such a distance away to reverse on itself is very low. Okay. Just having a little think. So that's why I'm looking at this as not high probability. We've got no news, proximity to the previous day's low. There was no clear previous day's high. We've got relatively equal highs at the highs, which would support price trading up there, engaging the sell stops above there. So there isn't anything yet that I want to ultimately portray. Now, looking at the 4 hour, you could say, well, we've got double highs, double tops here. We have okay. So we're going to play price on. I'm going to drop down to, we've got hourly levels marked up that are important. We are inside of this BC as well as, well, it's hard to really know what it actually is because of the gap. So okay, just want to get my bearings. Here we go. Current New York high. Okay. And let me just double check one last thing. Yeah, there isn't anything there. Okay. Okay. So 5. We've got no news, but I do want to know when the 8:30 essential news embargo lifts, and I also want to know where the equities open will occur and the volatility that will come into the market from the equities open as these fans have their moment. And yes, I have changed my candle colours, just fancied freshen it up a little bit. Okay, 15-minute, let's go. Where are we? What time? Okay, so we're approaching half 8. We've seen some movement at 8 o'clock below the London low. Keep that going. Now I'm just going to pause that there because I just want to see where the market is in proximity to a number of things. Nowhere near previous day's low on any of the members, so that in itself is sort of telling me we're in the midst of a consolidation, and the likelihood of seeing a move today is low. So stay on the sidelines. It's as simple as that. If the market is representing low probability conditions, no need to do anything. Go and do something else. Or you can be sad like me and watch candles. I'm going to stop there. Just want to see what the hourly is doing. So BPR here respected. BPR respected. Traded down into this larger BPR, which is relative to the 4-hour, which currently is being respected. The higher time frame BPR is being respected, which is what you want to see, which kind of supports the idea of higher prices still. So it's not something I would engage in. I would certainly wait for the right opportunity before I took a trade. This for me is not it. It's a very low probability. So we continue. Waiting for equities open and the volatility that may come from it. So there was volatility in the air. Okay, so we've traded through equities open. Market's traded down. I'm just going to pause it here, have a quick look at the hourly. Torrential Sibi here. Breaker. There. Okay, let's continue. Not seeing anything noteworthy. Okay. Oh, let's be on the 15-minute. So 15-minute traded through that BPR, quite possibly with the aim of trading lower. Okay, let's continue. There's nothing really. The market's just consolidating. Yes, it's in a sort of downward trend, but it's just consolidating. Started here, traded higher, came down, took out the lows, came higher, took out the highs, came down, took out the lows. So, not the market conditions that I'd want to be in. We're now heading into the lunch hour. And we are almost. Oh, what the hell? Let's do that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are now into the lunch period. Market has just chopped. So as we can see, there was nothing for us here at all. We were very clear in terms of what we was looking for. I wanted to see longs. Market hasn't presented any opportunity for longs. Hasn't purged key time-based liquidity pool. I haven't seen SMT. There's nothing here yet for me to trade, so we just got to remain patient, and that's the key, is remaining patient for your setup based on the time frames that you trade. If you want to trade lower time frames, trade lower time frames, wait for your setup, and then execute the plan. Don't chop and change. Don't go chasing anything that isn't actually there. For me, nothing's there. Very clear on what I want to see. Hasn't presented itself. Therefore, no move. We're right in the middle of the range. We could take this higher. Probably wouldn't. There's probably another high which we can utilize. But if we're looking from here to here, which is fair, we're again in the middle of the range. So for me, there's nothing here. I will leave the rest of the day to play out, and then come back tomorrow looking at, in fact, let's just change that up to 15, and let's just go to 4 o'clock, which is around there. YM repricing higher, but again, all three members need to be on the right side of the market. So all good and well, YM prices up there. Okay, NQ's there as well. What time are we? Oh God, I have no idea why this thing continues to go after. Don't understand why it continues to. Like you got to be mindful of it ahead of time. Partial SMT, which is what I was alluding to, but NQ never traded above, so I'm happy to sit that out. ES like snipped above. NQ no. YM yes. So no, happy with low probability conditions. Not going to force anything. Does mean that we're probably in a position now where we're likely to see something come Wednesday, maybe possibly Thursday of this week, we're likely to see something. So things seem to be setting up now, which is what we want. Be able to capitalize. I'm just gonna have to be a little bit more careful with price action and the speed that it's running. So I'm going to leave this one here. It hasn't been all lost. Yes, it's been low probability. Yes, we've had to discern why the markets have been low probability, and we've seen price action deliver in a fashion that would corroborate our low probability outlook. However, it looks as though price is setting up nicely, because where we start to see a consolidation, that typically means that we're likely to see some form of manipulation at some point, and then we can get the opportunity of displacement, which is the move that we're after. So that's likely to come probably tomorrow. We've got FOMC statements and FOMC press conference, but on Thursday we've got high impact news as well. So on one of those 2 days, I would expect to see the low or the high of the week form, and then a trade opportunity to present itself. So thank you, and hopefully you took something away from this session. Quite interesting. We did kind of cover a couple of days in this because I felt that it was low probability, and like I said, it's nice to get to a point where it looks as though something could be materializing, and that should give us an opportunity to engage the market. So I am going to leave it there. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you took something away, and I will be back with another video in due course. Take it easy. See you in the next one.